Hey everybody, my name is Eric. I'm making a game. That game is called The Godkiller. You'd be amazed. You'd be amazed at all the new things I'm trying to shove into this game. Like some of them are just ridiculous, and I don't even want to tell you about them because you say, "What? You're biting off more than you can chew." No, I know what I'm doing. Just be cool. Be cool. All right. So, let me demo recent progress, and then I'll get to work. I like to start each stream by demoing some things that I've accomplished recently, so that people are not really into watching me work. They can just see what I've been up to recently, and then they can drop off when my work habits and banter gets boring for them. If they're mainly into the game, then just watch the very beginning. That's when I get to it. When I get to the demoing of recent stuff. All right, demo. Okay, I've got the dialogue head turned on. This has been around for a long time. Let me turn that off just for a moment because it's probably drawing attention away from something else. Okay, let's turn off the dialogue head for speech. And okay, so there's this thing down here when you start the game, you go through the first level, there's no dialogue, but then you're on the second level, which is chock full of dialogue. And I will have had the default setting be subtitles are off, because I believe that the game will play better without subtitles. However, I did my own market research. I talked to a whole bunch of players of a similar game that I wrote, similar in many ways, some years ago. There's a community around it. The game's called Drod, and I really listened to what they had to say, and I looked at some other sources, and I realized I cannot just turn the subtitles off without paying a penalty in the first impression. And also, kind of like Tom Cruise twisting your arm to turn off that stupid interpolation mode on your TV when you get it home, there is a case to be made and needs to be made that maybe you might want to play a game without subtitles, because most players, by one poll, 79% of them are starting out with subtitles. They're turning on subtitles. That's their default behavior. So, with all that in mind, I put this thing that is just right in your way as you walk through. You could walk around it. You could ignore it if you want and keep going, and the game dialogue will start. Or if subtitles kind of matter to you in some way, you can step on this. It brings up this dialogue. This game was designed to be enjoyed without subtitles, which are disabled by default. Adjust settings now. Okay? This is about the 5th version of this copy that I made. There are some that were a little hoity-toity, like, we understand your preferences and may be inclined to have the subtitles, and I'll just get rid of that one. Made this text as short as possible. There's one that says, an earlier version, enable subtitles or leave disabled. And I axed that one because I know there's this large bias towards turning subtitles on. I wanted to just make it just a little bit harder, a little less inviting to turn the subtitles, because otherwise somebody's going to read this, they're going to think, turn the subtitles on, they'll just keep going, right? So I offered the player an option to go away from the game and adjust their settings. I may be too much of a psychologist here, and this really made turn around and bite me in the ass. But my thought is, if you're offered a chance to adjust your settings, there's a slight negativeness to that. There's a slight slowdown. Doesn't sound all that fun. But it's there. So if you want to adjust the settings, go ahead. It's also it's the thinking choice. I've made it into the thinking choice. So somebody has to stop for a moment and say, wait, what are they saying? What? And think a little bit instead of just using kind of like their quick impulses. So if they go to adjust the settings, they can adjust them here. They can turn this on. I've got it on now because there's actually no voiceover in the game. It's the only way you can see what the heck is going on as far as dialogue goes. All right. So that is that. And then I did a hell of a lot of design thought last night. And I think I decided pretty much everything related to subtitles that I want to do. And in this session, I could do more subtitle stuff, and I think I will. But the first task I'm going to give myself is let me turn that face back on. Yeah, turn on M's face. Okay, this face will pop above M's head while she's speaking. Okay. First task I'm going to give myself is a way to make it translucent. Now, there's some code that I know will work to do it, but I have to rearrange how everything's rendered. So it renders first to one texture, all these parts. So like you look at the eyes, they move around, right? Because there's multiple blits to the screen, to the screen texture, the rendered texture. No, I'm saying that wrong. Okay, there's multiple blits or copying of pixels to the screen, and if I set those to be translucent, because there's different parts that are overlaid over each other, you would kind of see the edges of parts. And I tried it, and that's exactly how it worked. So you know, her lids are one part, the irises, and there's some other stuff too, like her mouth can change to different emotions. So yeah, anyways, the first thing I'll do is make it so this whole face can be translucent. I discovered with my testing that it should be valuable to be able to fade this face in and out. It definitely looks nicer if you're going to have the face say something, for it to whoop, go from 0 opacity to 100 or 75. There's also the possibility that I might say that maybe in certain areas of a level will automatically turn the face to a low opacity, so you can see what the heck you're doing. I basically got the layout of this level memorized, so it's not that big a deal for me to be, say, at the bottom of these stairs and have a face going over the top of this stairway. But if you, the player, haven't memorized this level layout, it's going to be kind of annoying. Also, this is your second level of the game. It's the first one that introduces 3D movement. So an idea of having control of translucency, that's... Anyways, I'm going to do that. Yeah. I'm looking forward to this head above the character thing too. So my old business partner and co-developer of Drod, he brought up a really nice point. Well, it's the same point I already had in my mind when I designed this feature. Let me see if I can get one example of this thing he's talking about. So, this long conversation with the Drod community about subtitles in games. He's at the end. Now I'm thinking the way Drod has implemented the speaker portrait, you know, the face, top left corner, divides the user's attention a bit from the subtitles. Bingo. I'll show you exactly what he's talking about. This is a design that I came up with in the 90s, and I would definitely like to depart from it. Okay, so let's say draw, actually, Caravel Games. .com would be the easiest one. What? Oh, not James Carville Games, Caravel Games. Then we'll go to TCB. And we'll go and look at one of these giant screens. Okay. So in Drod, there's voice dialogue, and you'd hear this guy, and he'd be going, "Mad is what I have, my guts bubbling blood, us green goblin," etc. Okay, and then this text would appear next to the screen, next to the character who's speaking, and then up here in the northwest corner, some art I drew many years ago. There's the Goblin King up there, and when he talks, that portrait is there. When a different character talks, their portrait will be up there. But it does draw your attention all the way over here, where it would be nicer if you could keep it around the person that was talking. So the solution that I came up with to this problem was what you just saw a moment ago, which is the visible face would pop up over the head of the tiny little overhead view character. So you can see their face, what they're feeling. There'll be lip animation that goes along with the dialogue. It'll be synchronized. I've got the technology in place for that. So it'll just feel better, and it'll be a little more fun to look at the faces than it was with Drod, I think. And it won't draw your attention too far away from the gameplay, so you can stay immersed in it. All right. So for all that, let's get to the face stuff. I think I will go to a different level. Let's save this one. And I'll do another thing here. For the subtitles, since I'm not ready to really default to having them be off. Nah, I'll leave it. Okay, save that. Okay, then we go to some test level that I can load quickly. Okay, scenes. By the way, I'm done with demo, and now I'm properly working. The old boring test level. Turn the face on. Okay. Good time to do a big old commit. I'm glad it's Friday. I love Friday. The one thing I love more than Friday night is Saturday, which is my whole day, with one extra buffer day at the end of it. So I can feel like I've got so much time on Saturday, even though it's quite fleeting. It's gone pretty quick, and then it's Sunday, and then I have that feeling, that sad feeling like the end of summer camp on Sunday. You're like you're in Europe. What country are you in? Okay, so we have floor text, subtitles, dialogue, plumbing. Well, there you go. Well, I mean, since you're experiencing Saturday before me, you got to warn me if it's a good Saturday or a bad Saturday, so I know, because I'm not to Saturday yet. I'm still stuck on Friday. blissfully unaware of what Saturday might be like. Oh shit, there might be snow on Saturday. Good thing you warned me. Get rid of these privates. Alright, so here's all my code for drawing the face. The thing is, since I want to be able to use translucency on it, all these places where I'm drawing a texture. In fact, I do. In fact, I do. That is something I gotta solve soon. But to be more specific, the problem is with Bitbucket. So I don't want to log into Bitbucket. So my build setup uses Unity Cloud Build, and it pulls from Bitbucket. I do a git push out to Bitbucket, and I'm at close to their limit now. So they'll say 1.8 gigabytes. Well, no, I'm at 1.8 gigabytes, but their max for the whole repository is 2 gigabytes. And they say that it's not just a financial or economic thing, but the architecture of Git starts to do really poorly with Git clones and pushes and everything when you get above a certain size. So they do have this thing called LFS, or large file storage, I think is what it stands for, which I need to look into. But yeah, so I don't think Git was truly designed to deal with a lot of large media files. It does pretty well. I mean, I end up committing and pushing just gigabytes of data all the time, but I guess it gets worse and worse as you approach that asymptote. Mm-hmm. Goose of Wild, what's going on? Everyone from Europe is here now. We got UK and Germany, and it's already Saturday according to Freeman. It's all right. It's all right. I have no expectations for anybody to be around at any point in time. Copy folder and make a new repo. There might be something to that, because if you just create a new repo, it wouldn't have all of the history of all the changes you made to the large binary files. So it seems like it might buy you some time until you reach that problem again where your performance goes way down. But I'm not certain about that. I'm interested in checking out Bitbucket's LFS. Well, that happens to us. Unhappy with your work life. But what could be going wrong, Goose? You're making the bucks, right? You're a high-paid IT professional, full of knowledge and skills, and probably making 3 or 4 times that your average salary of your countrymen. I'm being facetious, obviously. Yeah. I mean, not to play the psychologist, but I have some curiosity. Have you figured out which aspects of it are bothering you? Because what I find is it's not the work, it's the people. It's like if I'm on an island by myself with a computer, I will joyfully do much of the same work that I get paid for now. In fact, you could say I do that by after I get off work, I start writing some code. Yeah, yeah. No, that's a good point. Like, if you got a wife and you complain to, there's something about okay, for you get a few good moans and rants, and she'll be there to back you up. And then after a while, if she's good at her job, being a partner, um, so it's like, yeah, maybe you ought to do something that makes you more happy instead of complaining about it. That's the kind of thing a good spouse will do. Yeah. Yeah, sorry to hear it, man. But I don't know. Just speaking for myself, there's no form of there's no advice laden in this, but just speaking for myself. Like whenever I found myself feeling shitty about work, it's always because of the forces inside of the company and how they set me up for misery. Hmm. I don't know what you mean by Brexit balls. But I see. It might be slang I'm unfamiliar with. Yeah, don't know that term. Uh, so you're working towards senior, and they're bringing in two leads at the senior level. So it's kind of like cutting off that path you thought was there for you because other people are going to move in above you. Yeah, man. It sounds like the same thing I was talking about, which is just like the work probably isn't that bad. It's just all the stupid little games people set up and how we're not good at doing things that let people stay happy. How's the market in the UK as far as like if you want to switch jobs? Is it hard? Yeah, yeah, that's the thing too. Like if you're sort of brought low, like you're feeling, on the verge of depression and everything, man, it sucks to like dust yourself off and get your CV updated and go out there and pretend like you really want to work for a new company in an interview and stuff like that when you just kind of feel gut punched. Yeah, I get that. Sometimes I get a second wind just knowing I can quit and leave, even if I'm not quite ready to. Yeah, yeah, that's terrible. I would say that's the one thing that um, the like people that work overtime. There's a real pattern with like nobody giving a fuck that you worked extra hours. Like people think they've increased their value or the perception of their value in their managers by then putting in lots of extra time, and sometimes it goes the opposite way. It can be really unfair. Um, yeah, right, right. Well, let's see if I can get going on this thing. I like where Freeman's going with this actually, because like we're doing this thing with you, Goose, maybe, or I am, where it's like, yeah, it sucks. But then there's that other thing. It's like it's almost always like when you start feeling like everything is shitty, you're missing something. Like it's only like 27% shitty instead of 78% shitty. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know that feels. So example of like how something can be like not nearly as bad as it seems. At my work, there's like some major project that should go to my team, and they said we want you to tell us what we need to get a contract company to put a bid in for it. And alarm bells ring off my head. Wait, they don't want my team to work on this. They don't want the people that know the software inside and out to work on it. They want to just hire it out to a contractor, like to save money. Or are they getting like super cheap? What's going on? Um, and the story was there was some higher up that just wanted to check our internal estimates to make sure that they were matching market reality. Um, so not necessarily did they even really want to use the contractor. They're just like, we can get the contractors to give us a bid. Um, that doesn't that's no big deal for us. And so it was just like a little calibration exercise. Um, in general, my motto is sort of like not motto, but the way I see these things is like, yeah, you're gonna get screwed over. It just won't be the way you think it is. Yeah, I give you no advice, sir. No advice other than it can get better. You can fix it. You can fix it. You seem like a resourceful dude. You mean C sharp or computer science? I think you mean C sharp, Freeman. Let's see. Gotcha. Yeah. First off, I'm not a big language advocate, but it's just a tool. In my case, I'm coding in it because it's what you code in for the Unity game engine. So if you want to use Unity, then you're going to use C sharp unless you do something very non-standard. I've heard people say a lot of good things about Swift. If you were going to do mobile, then I mean, it depends what you want to do. Like if you want to do mobile and iOS, then well, I guess Swift. If you want to do mobile and Android, I guess Java or Kotlin, or I don't know. I'm not an Android guy, but I think you'd start with what type of programming you want to do, and then and maybe even go further, like which engines you want to use, and pick your languages from there. For web, I guess I would tell most people, if they had learned nothing else to start out, go with React and TypeScript or JavaScript if you don't like type languages. Good things about C sharp: it's got typing, it's cross-platform, pretty good tool support. Bad things: there's some things you might set out to do that are just a little more cumbersome than they need to be. And then if you want to make games with high performance and you have certain algorithms that could benefit from running faster, be highly optimized, then using something like C++ would be better. Yeah, there you go. I know nothing about Julia. But yeah, if you were in the total, numbers land, and you don't really care that much about UI, then like your language choices vary quite a bit. Right, okay, so it was, let's see, set render target. Let's see if I got any code that just creates a render texture, and I'll start with that. I don't know. Like if you're trying to crack the secrets of the universe, maybe use Wolfram Alpha, that thing. Or I feel dumb. I do not know anything about mathematics and that type of programming. Okay. Let's see. What did I say up there for render? Let's do it. Well, I'm not an expert on it, but just thinking about it a little bit, it seems like, depending on the algorithm for the garbage collector, it could take advantage of you hinting that the memory is no longer needed. Like it could get an earlier indication of the resource, the memory associated with it no longer being needed. But it feels like the smarter the garbage collection is, and its support inside the language, the less it would be valuable for that hint to be there. But I'm not down in those details. I think that's kind of, I'm off pontificating. Have a start. Okay. I just want to do something that is visible on the screen just to prove to myself that this can work. So my thought was, if I create a render texture and I set the render target, then maybe the other operations I perform with graphics will render to it. I'm going to admit some of these options are confusing me. Yeah, my name is Eric Hermanson. I don't mind. It is a security weakness for me to have my login name here. I admit that. My overall security defense system is, I got all my shit backed up. I'll start over from scratch if I have to. If I get ransomware on my computer, I just delete every fucking thing on the hard drive and start over. And if anyone interprets this as a challenge, like if somebody's watching a YouTube recording from the archive of this, I'll say it right now, Mercy, you probably hack me. I wish you wouldn't. I'm not very secure. Again, my main approach is kind of like disaster recovery. I've got a good set of backups, some offsite. Okay, so set render target. So I can set the render texture. What is the cube map base? I don't even know what that is. What is it? What is a cube map? Some. So I've got one that is connected all the time. Yes, I have. Yep. I've got my get pushes. I've got some cartridges that I take out of the case every once in a while and put inside of a safe location. Literally a safe location. It's a safe. It's a fireproof. It's in a house with an alarm system. And I've got one extra place where all the files do an offsite backup. So it's pretty decent as far as they go. The media's got sort of a rolling backup, not a rolling backup, but like I've got one cartridge for each day of the week, just to kind of like make it so that I can kind of go backwards in time a little bit. So if I don't discover a problem that's been around that was a loss of data for like, 3 days or something like that, I can just kind of go back to before that happened. And then there's a verification script that runs on the cartridges. It does a diff against all the files, comparing local to the image that's on backup. And then there was one other thing I did. I don't know, man. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. This is after I blew it a couple years ago. Oh yeah, and I've got unopened boxes that have like an extra drive, like the one that I use for backup and restore, so that if 10 years from now, like there's nobody sells the drive that I use for my backups and restores, I can still take this extra one I've got and use it to perform a restore. But what I will never do again is entirely rely on offsite backup services to perform backups. I got so screwed over by that. I am not getting anything done. What is a cube map? What the hell is a cube map? Unity cube map. What is it? It's like a skybox. Is that it? Cube map. Okay, it's some kind of. It's like the skybox thing. Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you. I think I don't need to set anything for that. Set render target, MIP level, defaults. I think just set render target, render texture. Okay, set. Let's see, graphics. Set render target. Render texture. Okay. Except that I want that. I'll go up here. And for update. Yeah. Let's take out draw face. And let's see. If this is right, it doesn't quite make sense to me. Is draw texture going to be affected by me setting the texture or setting the render texture? Set render target. this draw to a render texture instead of the screen. No. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, so draw a texture. I feel like I'm doing this wrong. Okay, so if I've got a render texture, how do I just do a blit to it? Unity blit. Let's see. Let's do copy pixels from one texture to another. Yeah, let's just find some snippet. I mean, even this might be it. Yeah, source texture, destination texture. What type? Yeah, this is probably it right here. Yeah, that looks a lot more promising. Okay, so suppose that I've just got this render texture and I don't do anything but just blit it to the screen. I could use maybe this draw texture add thing. Face texture, or I can use render texture. Go. Where's this coming from? Say x is 0, y is 0. Width ratio, where does that come from? Just writing some junk code to see if I can get this all working. Okay, so 0, 0. Width ratio. And the from rect. from rect. I think we'll just do new rect, and we'll do new rect 0 0f 1f for 100%, 1f for 100%. Okay. Will that draw something on the screen? That'd be great if it did. Even if it was ugly and terrible. Okay, this I don't really need to do anymore, so don't do that. Oh, yeah, okay. Do that. All right, give it a shot. Yeah, nice. Big stupid thing on the screen. Good, that's what I wanted. Okay. Now, let me blitz something to that big stupid box. Copy texture. Let's see if that will put anything into the render texture that shows up. Let's turn off maximize, don't need it yet. Mismatching texture sizes. Source was 1024. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So we need to supply some more parameters to this. I think it's this last one down here. So it's going to be source element. What is the source element? Weird. All right, I'll be right back. Source element. Is there like some constants to pass there? What am I passing? So weird. Weird API. So this is the only form that gives me all the positioning stuff. Doesn't really say what the source element value should be. Let me see if I can find. Well, first off, I'm going to complain. So they're just using 0. I think I should just try it and not worry too much about these values. Okay, so we'll do 0, 0 on that. Then you've got source, width and height, output texture, all that. Okay. And then we'll do 100, 100, which gets us to the destination texture. Again, we'll say 0, 0 for that element in MIP values, and then we'll blit to the top left corner of it. Okay. We'll see what that does. I see nothing being rendered. Okay. No errors either. Did I delete a line? Get it back to where it was. Okay. Maybe I have to apply it. Yeah, it's getting annoying. Let's see how they did it. Well, it sounds like this might rule out me wanting to use this. Maybe I should be using set pixels instead. Don't like this. All right, let's at least figure this part out. By the way, it feels like if this is unsupported, that Unity ought to just do this kind of thing underneath the hood. When was this posted? 2.5 years ago. It could still be true. Okay. I don't know if it's actually copying anything from the face texture, though. The face texture should have a whole bunch of stuff in it. Let me see what I've actually got there. Yeah, I should be doing stuff out of here. Maybe source width means... I don't think that's right. I'll try it once. It might be that this call didn't do anything. Okay, I don't think it did anything. So I think maybe I gotta do like apply on the render texture maybe. Okay, let's try that. Okay. Now what am I looking at? I believe I do see pixels from the face texture. just going to inline this so I can play with it better. Checking up here to see if I was incorrect in passing a rectangle with proportional values as opposed to pixel values. So if I go to the face sheet, yeah, it's doing percentage values, so I think that's what the code is expecting. This should have given me the same result, but I'm just going to double check it. Make sure I haven't put it someplace new. Okay, that's the same result. I'm not even really sure what I'm expecting with this yet. Let me step through it and learn a little bit. Okay, this is the location on the screen, or it will put, I think, maybe the top left. The top left of this render texture that I'm gonna copy to. Okay, pixel width. I do not know what width percent is 0.18 here when I have it been initialized at some other value. Oh, that's probably because the game object had this set and overrode the value above. That's probably the case. Yeah, it's a public, so it's a property. Game object probably overwrote that. Fine. Okay, so this is screen width divided by width percent, meaning how many pixels do we want to use on the screen width-wise to show the face. I said use 18% of the whole screen width. So it said, okay, fine, that's 178 pixels. Okay, width ratio. What does this thing mean? Width ratio. This is the scale at which we will draw things, I guess. I kind of wanted to get to a point where I could just see this render texture on the screen, because once I get to there, then everything else is a lot easier to experiment with. And I've got all this code up above it that works. When drawing directly to the screen, I need to convert it so it can draw to this intermediate texture. And then I draw the intermediate texture to the screen. And that would allow me to add translucency without it looking horrible. So I suspect the problem I have is inside a copy texture. Render width, render height. Because when I didn't initialize the render texture, it would just show a larger black or white box. Here I'm saying take the entire face sheet texture and use it for the blit. Wait a minute, what am I doing? Okay, one thing that's off maybe is I'm expressing the thing that I'm blitting as being the face sheet. I'm no longer blitting from the face sheet. I'm blitting from the smaller texture that's 100 by 100. So here it's going to say pixel amounts, 1024 by 1024. I might want to add this border in, just for troubleshooting purposes. Okay, x will be at 0. 2 rect is going to be expressed in pixels. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, so 2 rect is pixels. From rect is percentages. I mean, that's a confusing API, but I think that's how it's supposed to work. All right. Let me try this border thing just so I can get a handle on what it's actually blitting to. It is strange to me that it's so oversized when I don't do this copy texture thing. I don't know if this is going to be a good route too, because on that one thread, the guy was saying that when you call apply, it stops it for a noticeable amount of time. It's maybe a very expensive call. Let's see. Well, the border didn't do anything that I can see. The 2 rect is kind of messed up, if I'm honest. Try this. Negative 50. Negative 50. No, it's Rider, JetBrains Rider. I much prefer it over VS Code. Much prefer it. Yeah, I just had enough problems with VS Code that there was one day I was just in agony over it, and decided I'd switch over to Rider, and it was a good choice. The bad thing is, it's a good and a bad thing. The linting on it is serious. What I mean is, like all this stuff, all these little squiggles or lines underneath, I've really had to tune it. But it tends to find errors for me, but also annoy me. And the settings for all the linting are just Byzantine. So you go down to this code style and under C#, there's like a hierarchy of 4 or 5 levels here. And then you say for each thing how you want it. But if you don't supply the defaults that you want, it'll just harass you. And there's some places where it will, you can't just say, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It wants you to have an opinion about every single thing, or, it's like, no, it's not free. Although you can do a free demo, I believe. For me, it was worth it, paying the extra money for it. The main good thing about it is that it doesn't crash as much as VS Code does. I think it's really the VS Code for Unity that has so many troubles. Yeah. What kind of problems? Is it like crashing stuff? I think sometimes like the project files in VS Code, they get messed up in some way, and instead of me just saying do the default project thing and have it work, I have to go and like fiddle around a lot. Yeah. Also, I mean, there's stuff like I don't know, their lookups are just really nice. So if I want to find a class name, so like I do like React util. Okay, there it is. It's just real fast, and then it'll even do things like you can look up all instances inside of all the files, but then it's got this little window here where you can edit inside of. You don't have to actually jump all the way to the file. And the full version of VS Code is probably much better than the community version, but I didn't bother with it because it crashed on me all the time and gave me weird errors that made no sense. So I just said, screw it. I'm not gonna pay them money after they're abusing me. Yeah, it's good software. I'd recommend like getting the demo and just try it out, because the demo's full featured. I think it lets you use it for 30 days. And I didn't have any pain switching over, other than maybe having to spend more time than I wanted configuring the linting to be what matched my preferences. Let's see, finish player. Man, I'm just having a bit of trouble with this. So what do I know? My first problem is the area that I'm blitting is not matching the old area of the face. I could probably fix that with a little bit of fiddling. Second problem is when I make a copy from this texture into this intermediate texture, I just see one little line. I don't see the whole thing. So there's something wrong there. Yeah, it's just kind of a Not real happy with their documentation on it. Not to complain too much. It doesn't help me to complain, but like first I go and look at their documentation. It says a few things, but it's missing other things. And then I go look at people's snippets, and they're kind of working, but not really. At least not in my case. I feel like I'm being a little bit shallow about the problem, though, because it's in an area I'm just not great at. Okay, let me see if I can just find somebody's code that looks like it's real. So I do a copy from source texture, 0, 0, and this is going to be, oh yeah, this is not the coordinates. This is MIP and element. Okay, so he just says 0, 0, and RX and RY. This is going to be the source. Let's see, 0, 0 from there, width and height. It seems pretty clear it wants these to be in pixel format. Here he's just saying blit that from 0, 0 to 0, 0. So yeah, I'm not real sure what to change about my call. Maybe I've got like different pixel formats or something. I know I have to do apply to be able to see anything. No. Okay. That's something. Okay, so that's just splitting the whole face sheet over. Well, it's a puzzle solving adventure game. You control this character that is from this top down view, and you go around, solve puzzles, you fight things, you run away from things. There's a whole ton of levels to explore at this point. I've got 56. A lot of it has to do with block manipulation, although the blocks work different than like Sokoban blocks. They go flying across the room. There's this idea that things happen fast, but at the same speed that your brain works. So whenever you issue a command, everything updates, but then it stops. So if I'm on a level that's got an enemy that's chasing me, he moves immediately when I press the key, but then he stops. So it's got kind of a action feel to it, but it's moves at whatever speed that the player wants to move at. This is a junky test level that I use because I can hit play and unplay, and it cycles through kind of fast compared to one of the larger levels. Right now I'm trying to figure out improvements to the face animation algorithm that I've got right now. Well, thank you. Yeah, I've been working on it for a couple of years. It's bears similarities to an older series of games that I released called Drod, or Deadly Rooms of Death. Let's see. Okay, so if I draw the texture, it started working when I set this guy to the same height. That's not actually what I want to happen, though. So it makes me think that I've got some problem somewhere. Width equals from rec width times 50. Oh crap. I gotta go off the stream, go get a grocery delivery order thing. Spinat, nice talking to you. I guess I'll catch you later. Anybody else that is still on, thanks for the company, and I will see you around. Stopping the stream, stopping the stream, stopping the stream.